Now with all the latest stories making the headlines this afternoon, it's the ITV Lunchtime News.
Good afternoon. A wave of Russian missile strikes across Ukraine have killed at least 22 people, with many more injured. President Zelensky said Russia had fired dozens of missiles and deployed nearly every type of weapon in its arsenal. Cities including the capital, Kyiv, Lviv in the west and Odessa in the south were also struck. Aisha Zahid has the latest.
Across Ukraine, there is destruction and devastation. This is the aftermath of one of the biggest attacks on the country since the Russian invasion began. Evacuating everyone here is their priority. No one had expected this.
It was very loud. It had never happened before since the beginning of the war. Everything was blown away, windows and doors were smashed. We're on the 7th floor. There are only walls now.
This is the reality for many people in Dnipro. Dozens of homes here have been destroyed. It's just one of the cities that was struck. Russia launched around 110 missiles and dozens of drones overnight. In Kiev, people sought shelter in a subway station. They're all too familiar with having to do this. The stations here double up as bomb shelters. Meanwhile, in Kharkiv, officials search through the rubble of a collapsed building. There's an elderly man trapped underneath. Eventually, he's pulled out and taken to hospital. Similar scenes were seen in the southeastern city of Zaporizhia. There was extensive damage in Lviv too.
Lviv, ранок, житловий квартал.
Time and time again, we're showing what has been done by these non-humans in peaceful Lviv. We're holding on. Victory will be ours. At the moment, victims receive all the necessary assistance.
There's no doubt it will take time to process what has happened here as the country continues to deal with the consequences of this airstrike. Aisha Zahid, ITV News.
The family of the father of two killed after a car ploughed into a crowd of people in Sheffield say he was a wonderful husband, dad and friend to many. Chris Marriott had been walking with his wife and two young sons when he went to help a woman who was unconscious in the street. Well, our North of England correspondent Rachel Townsend is in Sheffield. Rachel, a real sense of shock there.
A huge sense of shock. Chris Marriott was well known in this community for the good work that he did. He was a charity worker and he ran a local food bank. He was also, as you said, a loving husband and a father. And within the last hour, his family has released this tribute to him. In it, they say he devoted much of his life to helping others. The circumstances of his death, although tragic and unfathomable to us as a family, show the sort of man he was. They say he went to help rather than to turn away. Now, Chris was out for a walk with his young family on Wednesday when he was killed. South Yorkshire police believe that Chris stopped to help a lady who'd been injured in a separate altercation in this cul-de-sac behind me. She lay unconscious as Chris gave her first aid, and then a car ploughed into Chris, the lady, and another passerby, an off-duty midwife who has also stopped to help. You may be able to see some of the aftermath of that damage. Now, this is now a murder investigation. A 23-year-old and a 55-year-old man remain in police custody. Detectives believe that people within this community will know what happened in the build-up. They accept there may be a reluctance for them to talk to police, but they are asking them to come forward with any information they have.
Rachel, thank you very much. 3 men have died in North Yorkshire after the 4x4 they were driving got into difficulty in the River Esk. Attempts to recover the vehicle driven by the group, whose identities remain unconfirmed, began this morning. North Yorkshire police were called to the scene near Glaisdale just before midday yesterday, but were unable to save the people inside the car. Well, ITV reporter Johnny Blair is at the scene and has sent this.
Well, the recovery operation is still underway. The 4x4 vehicle is about to be removed, and it is around 200 yards down the river from the point, the ford, where it had tried to cross yesterday before being swept away. We're told that at times yesterday, the height of the river was more than twice what it is at the moment. Residents who live nearby were too shocked, too upset to speak to us on camera, but did describe to us seeing around 15 or 20 emergency services vehicles here during that frenzy of activity yesterday lunchtime. They also expressed their shock, of course, at these 3 deaths, and did say that that ford is a fairly regular crossing point for 4x4 vehicles. North Yorkshire police haven't formally identified any of the 3 individuals. We're hoping for updates later on in the day.
Johnny Blair reporting there. In the United States, Maine's top election official has removed Donald Trump from the state's presidential primary ballot. It's because of Trump's role in the US Capitol riot on January the 6th, 2021. Maine now joins Colorado in banning Mr. Trump from the ballot. Most legal experts believe the US Supreme Court will settle the issue for the entire country. And finally, a 100th birthday is a huge milestone for anyone, but for Holocaust survivor Lily Ebert, it was even more special. She was sent flowers and a special letter from King Charles. He wrote, "Your extraordinary strength of spirit, resilience and courage is admired more than I can possibly say." Rob Rinder wrote on social media, Lily grabbed the pen back from the dark narrative others had written and wrote her own instead. Her story is joy, love and light. And that is all for now. We're back with an update just before 7:15 this evening. Until then, do have yourselves a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.